may have visitors tonight.
There'll be food and drink and ghosts, and perhaps even a few murders.
It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and committing acts of murder.
You remember the fun we had when you poisoned me?
Soothing, isn't it?
Well, you realize, of course, that we'd have to have a body to put in that casket.
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
This is a spooky edition of the Argo City podcast with Maddie.
She's so amusing.
And Matthew.
Imbecile, bombastic ignoramus.
And we have returned for part 2.
Yes,
part 3.
Well, we're still in spooky season, and this year spooky season means it's the zombie marathon.
Yes.
And for the most part, we're trying to stick with the Romero movies. So this week we are doing Day of the Dead. Now, some of you are looking at me like, wait, you skipped one. We really didn't. We actually did Day of the Dead like a year and a half ago before the podcast. So we didn't skip one, but we're not doing it this time around. And that's fine. That's fine, because we're going to still talk about that in relationship with everything else. Mm-hmm. So, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead.
It's okay. I was getting the two confused as well.
That's the whole title, the way that they did the titles, the way they did the alliteration for them, and I like it. Day of the Dead is pretty well into the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, we are like cities overtaken, thousands of zombies, like all kinds of different zombies. Essentially the whole globe seems to have been taken over.
Right, and this is one of the things I was mentioning, because last week with Night of the Living Dead, it's all new. The genre is new. It's not just the threat, not just the monster. Everything's new. The rules aren't established yet. This time, you have a world of zombies that are...
Yeah.
They're a lot more familiar, I think. So, Day of the Dead is many, many years later. And like you said, the world's kind of been taken over. It's mostly the story of a small group of scientists and a small group of army men that are all trying to coexist in a bunker well below the ground while they try and figure out what's the next step, really.
Yeah, like the army people, they're there on orders, but they haven't gotten orders in a while.
Right. The government that gave them orders is gone.
Yeah.
And the scientists are still trying to figure out, it's kind of questionable what the scientists are trying to figure out.
That's true. Frankenstein, one of the main scientists that we see, he's crazy. He's insane. I've talked about this before, but like, I read the Frankenstein book when I was during my senior year, and it was
right up to you.
Yeah, it was like I loved that book so much.
It's an automatic way of endearing the character.
I know. I still can't understand why my class hated that book so much when I loved it. When I when I essentially got to my language arts teacher and I was like, give me one of these books so that I can finish it on my own, because apparently we're not going to. So no, but he's a lot of fun throughout this. He's like your kooky guy, your quack, your slightly mentally insane.
Like it's not so much that he's crazy as much as he is just...
He's passionate.
Single-minded above all else, and doesn't notice just normal reality. Because there are some people in this that are crazy. Like some of our army men have absolutely gone cracked. And one of, whether they're the evil ones or whether they're the sympathetic ones. We've got, we start the movie off in a helicopter, and we have one army man who is Miguel is absolutely paralyzed from PSTD.
Yeah,
which
poor
really,
guy.
he is Barbara from last week.
Oh.
Whereas then we've got Joe Pilato, who is the army chief, the one in charge, and this dude is just over the top crazy.
He's annoying. He's like, sit down or I'm gonna shoot you, and we're just sitting here like, dude, if you're so prone to following the orders of your government, you can't kill the scientists that were placed there with you.
Joe Pilato and the other character is Steele. That's Gary Clark, and those two actually, they were friendly in real life. They're Gary in particular. So Steele, the bigger dude with the glasses and the beard, dude was just what you saw on screen. That's him.
Really?
That's who he is. He was a big goofball.
Aww.
He was fun and endearing.
Aww.
Everybody I know has good things to say about. Like, okay, so here's the thing. There was one year at Cinema Wasteland.
Yes.
They had both Joe Pilato and Gary Clark.
Yes, I asked you about this, and you refused to tell me until the podcast.
Yeah, so the thing is, they seated them, like, right next to each other. Not right next to each other, just a little bit away. It's worse. It would have been better if they'd seated them next to each other. But they were just far enough away where they were, like, able to look over at each other. And they're goofing on each other the entire convention. And they'd get into arguments. And suddenly, from the other end of the convention hall, the other end of the dealer's room, you just hear them yelling, "I am Spartacus!" No, I am Spartacus. No, I am and they just go back and forth on each other.
Oh my gosh, there is this clip online, actually Demon Slayer, coincidentally again, with, I want to say it was Tanjiro and Inosuke, and Inosuke's voice actor is a lot of fun. He has the best stories. I follow him on like TikTok and Instagram, and he told a story about once how when he's driving and people make him angry, he'll yell at them in his Inosuke voice. And it's the best thing ever. But there's this one clip of, I want to say, New York Comic Con. They're like, you've kind of got like a 4-wall room. You've got one person like right here, and the other person's kind of like right here, and they're just yelling, "What's my name? Compadre, what is my name?" And they're just yelling back and forth. We cut to another clip of a panel going on, and you just hear him yelling in the background.
Yeah.
Legitimately, it is the funniest thing ever. So I know exactly what you mean there.
I love it when these guys are close, when they're tight, and that's one of the things that conventions do. It gets you close to people in a way that you can't otherwise. So it's not just the movie, but then again, doing a movie like this also really, it's Corey Feldman once told me that doing a movie like The Lost Boys, where you're with a bunch of people who are close to your age, it's like summer camp.
I legitimately, you know how obsessed I am with the Hunger Games, right?
Yeah.
All of the behind the scenes, they do the same thing, literally. It's a bunch of these kids, but they're all, like, some of them are close in age. Most of them are all different ages. They're just all hanging out together all the time.
Yeah,
it's the best thing ever.
He described it as, like, the best summer camp ever, but when he describes it, to me, I resonate with it that it's not just summer camp. It's like when I was still in the theater. Mm-hmm. It's like doing a play. Because everybody in that cast, or maybe not everybody, maybe it's a core group, but usually it's most of the people in that cast. They are family. They are your closest friends. They are the most intimate relationships you can possibly imagine, because you are there rehearsing and throwing down all day, every day. And then you know what you do after rehearsals?
Yeah, you never speak again.
No. After the rehearsals, you go out to the bar or you go out to the restaurants.
Oh, no, that's right.
If they go out to the bar, I'm ordering myself a Shirley Temple. If we're going out to a restaurant, I'm getting chicken. And we're just hanging out the rest of the night. And the cast parties go on for half of the production, and you're just hanging out. And but then you're right. After the production's over, you never see them again. unless you do another play with them. And then it's right back to the same old thing. But otherwise, you just... Now, once in a while, you'll pick up somebody. And they're just part of your group. Like my parents picked up Jim Heath, who we did the Cotton Patch Gospel with. And he was just a part of the group for the rest of our lives, for the rest of his life. He was part of the band. He was part of every party. For us, I picked up Shauna Manville from Greece, and she's just been a part of my life ever since. But that's rare. For the most part, it's just like, you're in the trenches, you're doing this, and it's that kind of relationship. And that's one of the cool things about conventions, because it gets to do that. It gets to reunite these people, and you just pick up where you left off. And I love
that's
these
what a good
people.
friendship is. Like, you can go months without speaking, and then suddenly you're back together and you're like, oh yeah, remember this funny thing? And then you're all just laughing and having a great time again.
And you know what? That's really great for a show like this, for a show like Cinema Wasteland, or for any of these conventions. It just, because that chemistry is still there, and now everybody around you is included. It's just great. So I love Gary Clark. He's Gary Clark and Joe Pilato. They're both gone now, and I miss them. Mm-hmm. But it was so great to spend that time with them and hang out with them. You know what? Let's get back a little bit to Day of the Dead,
the actual movie.
Well, I can reminisce about these people all day because I've met so many of them and I've spent time with them, and I do fandom, and so it's a part of everything. But here's the thing: we're in Day of the Dead. This is what's so interesting about this, as opposed to a lot of Romero's early work. We have rules now.
Yeah, everything is kind of in set with, like, the zombies and such.
And one of the things that I try to sell you on this, and by the way, I also tried to sell my wife on this. Mom's sitting right over there, hacking up a lung, slowly turning into a zombie. The cats are very concerned. Sparky's, like, curled up, and it's like, please don't eat anybody.
Poor kitty.
But this is probably...
No, he's just worried about losing his food.
This is probably the most like The Walking Dead that I can... I mean, it's the world that you're used to, having grown up with zombies. Like, you talked about this last week, where we were a zombie family, you grew up with zombies.
Yeah.
And this is probably the most familiar stomping grounds I can give you.
Yeah, like, a lot of the, as you said, a lot of the rules are the same, a lot of the, like... it being mainly focused on the interactions of the people rather than the zombies half the time. Although, to be fair, when it comes to, like, zombie shows, I honestly prefer more zombie-esque than more talking. But to be fair, we got a decent amount of that in this.
And you know what? It doesn't surprise me, too, because one of our effects masters here is Greg Nicotero.
Yeah. Who
is basically one of the Walking Dead small G gods. He's just, he's one of those guys. I haven't met him, and I really, really want to. I don't know if I can afford to anymore, but I really, really want to. And you can kind of see some of his influence here. Let's talk about those zombies, too. Like, because, again, you're seeing some of his influence here. When we did Night of the Living Dead, it's just people with kind of like some dark grease paint.
Yeah.
When we did Dawn of the Dead, it was everybody had blue.
It's a mixture of blue or tan. Like, not all the zombies had the same complexion, which I really liked because it shows a passage of time. Which zombies were turned zombies first? Which ones were turned later? Like,
and Day of the Dead's taken this a step further. Yeah. So we still have some of that blue tinge, although it's not as garish as Dawn of the Dead. That's probably the only thing I can really complain about with Dawn of the Dead. But with Day of the Dead, man, they nail these. Yeah. There's appliances. There's still a blue tinge, but there's more to it.
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree. Like, you have, even just like the makeup, you have like blood gushing out, or you have, I think it's at one point one of the zombies like spits out a bunch of like spit, which was like, okay, I'm down for this. It's realistic.
And I'm going to go back to Tom Savini. We talked a little bit about him previously, and he's really the effects master here. I mean, the man has a school. If you want to learn how to do movie...
Really?
Yes. He has the Tom Savini School of Effects.
Is that like an actual in-person school?
Yes.
That's wonderful.
And where do you think it is? It's in Pittsburgh. It's in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I mean, look, you know what? Zombies are to Pittsburgh what Superman is to Cleveland.
Really?
Really is. If you drive out to some of these places, some of these locations, like the graveyard I mentioned last week, or like the Monroeville Mall, you'll see billboards. You'll see businesses advertising with zombie motifs. There's zombie paintball or zombie insurance, and it's a thing out there.
Zombie insurance.
In fact, it's maybe more of a thing than Superman is in Cleveland. And, you know, I almost sit back and I'm like, which would I prefer? Would I prefer to be like in the home of Cleveland or home of Superman in Cleveland? Or would I prefer to be in the home of zombies in Pittsburgh? And I don't know. I kind of think I'm still good being in like in the home of Superman. Superman's a bigger, more important thing to me.
Oh no, yeah. I feel like with Superman, it's like you gotta be in the know, and even if you aren't, like, Superman is generally one of those like well-known heroes. But even then, if you are like, let's say, if you are in the convention scene, it's everything to this place. They recently put up a statue of Superman down in Cleveland.
Yes,
and like that. I'm surprised that happened.
That's a much easier pilgrimage for me to make than getting out to the graveyard. But
next Saturday, you and me are going up there because I still haven't seen it in person yet. I have talked with customers at work that have seen it, and they keep telling me, "Girl, just go out and see it." And I'm like, I want to, but I am not driving those Cleveland roads. Heck no.
You know, this movie though actually gets to some of the stuff that we see in The Walking Dead ahead of it. Like the idea of amputating a limb that's been bitten.
That's true. I hadn't even thought about that.
This is 1985. They did it first.
That is amazing. That's actually really cool. I didn't actually notice that.
There's other stuff too, though. Like, now, George Romero's always had what he calls, scare quotes, featured zombies.
Yeah.
So, like, if you look over my Dawn of the Dead poster, you'll see one person is the nurse zombie. One person's the gray suit zombie. One person's the arrow through the head zombie, or the head chopped off zombie. One's the Hare Krishna zombie. Literally.
That's hilarious.
So he continues that in this movie. And for the first time, by the way, I noticed there's a clown zombie in Day of the Dead. Yeah. That was wild.
He noticed it right as we were like being like, I think he noticed it during the lift up when we were being lifted up towards the end of the movie.
And you know what? This is a thing in like Zombieland, which it's obviously pulling it straight off of here. But there's another one there, too, that you noticed.
Yes, I noticed.
We got to talk about this.
Yes, I'm just going to completely interrupt you now. I saw a dancer zombie. She was a ballerina. She had a really pretty poofy tutu. It was amazing. And then as the thing was going, I was noticing, wait a minute. As it was going, I was noticing, wait a minute. She's on her tippy toes. This girl is walking on point as a zombie. For those of you, like, my sister is a dancer. She hasn't done point. She doesn't do point, but she does do ballet. And I've met a couple of the girls at our old studio that used to do point. And I'm like, how? It hurts their feet to be on point for a few minutes.
I mean, it's not just tippy toe. It's like it's the position.
She is walking in separate positions. She has when she reaches out
it's
her arm
L
to grab on
position,
something.
yeah.
She is gracefully reaching her arm down just slightly. You can see it in her movements. For one of it, I think she mostly has her right foot on point, and her other foot is always in this. I don't know ballet positions. I was a tap dancer, but she had her foot out, and I want to say like first position. Almost going back and forth with that. But that girl was on point. And she was just in the corner. And that was so amazing.
This is background stuff. I mean, this is the attention to detail. This is the freedom that Romero would give extras. Like, do what you want to do and go as far with it as you can.
Yeah, because one of the things that they show in this is, like, zombies have memories. So that's
a whole thing, because we're starting this now.
Yeah.
Zombies are beginning to evolve.
And I actually did want to talk about this because I am going to go here. Do you know what my favorite part of this movie was?
Well, my best guess would be your favorite part of this movie is Bub.
Okay, well, that's kind of it, but I had something different there.
Okay, well, we're going to come back to Bub, yes, absolutely.
I love the fact that we focus on research in this movie.
Yeah.
I adore the fact that we're seeing, like, Bub specifically, we're seeing him learn. We are seeing the doctor and all of his patients on the side. We are learning about what these zombies are. We are focused on the science aspect of this.
You know, it's funny, too, because, like I said, we've got the rules in place now. And they're trying to explain them a little bit. We get a nice...
But they're taking it a step further.
There.
But they're taking it a step further, though.
Well, they're taking it a step further, and also they don't care, because this is, okay, you know the rules. We're going to focus on the human interaction, but also let's really push what we can do with the science.
Like, that was generally my favorite part, because in a lot of zombie movies or a lot of zombie games, it's shoot, gun, and fighting with all the people. When we occasionally do get a scientist, it's usually just one, and typically they end up getting killed because... well, you have to have your heroine or your hero survive, yada, yada, yada. But the scientist plays such a trivial part, such a big part in this. And I love that.
Well, and you know what? It's not just that they play a big integral part here. It's part of the point of the movie is the conflict between them and the army.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's... different ideas, it's different perspectives. Again, this is kind of where I come back to, we got the rules in place. Let's talk about what happens elsewhere.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because there's things that are happening here that it's hard to figure out which side you're going to be on. Yeah. There's a moment where we discover that, Frankenstein's been trying to train the zombies, and, well, he's doing it like a dog.
Yeah.
It's positive reinforcement. It's treats.
Yeah.
Where are you getting the treats from? The treats are body parts from the soldiers that have died.
The soldier that had died a little bit ago.
And I don't know, you had a pretty strong reaction to it. It's like you're conflicted.
Yeah, well, I'm just like, you're going back on your entire point of doing this. Like, he mentioned earlier in his research that the zombies don't have a stomach. They don't digest anything. So, wouldn't feeding them flesh revert them back? But, like, flesh would be like a reward for them because it's what they go after. It's what they're drawn towards. But at this point, our dude isn't even attacking him. He is like just, he grabbed his arm at one point, but he's just looking at it. He has no reason to go after this flesh.
So it's, I mean,
but also
they're dead. They don't care anymore. But at the same time, it's such a desecration. It's so disrespectful. It's so disturbing.
And you know why I think it makes it so disturbing? It's because we're seeing Bub act human-like.
Yeah.
Well, we're associating him with human traits now.
And you know what? That's kind of rough because the entire point of zombies is that you have this mindless monster that you can shoot down and mow down and get rid of and fight against that looks human but isn't. Except Bub doesn't fit that anymore. No, Bub acts really human.
But before we really jump in more with him, kind of going back to what we were saying about the whole conflictedness, when the soldiers find out about their fellow man being given as a treat to the zombie, they shoot him. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, I mean, I probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah, it's certainly an emotional reaction. And it's a justifiable emotional reaction. Absolutely.
I mean, it's different from, like, the Walking Dead video games where they're literally cutting legs off of people and feeding it to everybody. But, and especially because that person's alive. But, no, even if it being dead, it's like you're desecrating a corpse. You have graves upstairs for a reason.
Well, and you know what? He was keeping them in the dark about it.
That's true.
He hadn't, like, made... I don't know. He hadn't settled terms and said, you know what, we need to do this, so I understand you're not going to like it, you don't understand it. He was just kind of going off on a tangent.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's going off on a tangent trying to domesticate these things so that they're kind of, you know, more like the one at the end of Shaun of the Dead, playing video games in the shed.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what his goal is, and the goal is right. He's going in the right direction, but it's hard to pick a side.
Yeah,
I mean, it is and it isn't. Romero's trying to make it easy for you because I mentioned this to you. Romero's an old hippie, and he hates the military, and that's neither here nor there. That's what he's going to display. But at the same time, you know, he's giving you a real moral quandary. It's a real question here.
Yeah, 'cause
it's hard to say.
It's like, even at the end when the military people, they're being picked off one by one, I'm like watching the thin guy, oh yeah, I don't care if you die. And then the fat guy comes in and he's like, but you can't kill him, he's been so nice. And that was kind of sad, especially because he chose to use that last bullet with actual critical thinking before he let the zombies eat him.
Steele is, I don't want to be a zombie.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be a zombie. So Gary Claw goes right ahead and he eats a bullet. And
yeah, I mean, like, to be fair with a lot of this, we watched, like, the TV version, so we watched it very much edited down gore-wise.
Yes, there's a lot of blurred stuff, and I do that out of consideration for you because you don't like the gore.
I can't handle a lot of that blood and gore. It makes me feel gross.
And it's this one too. This one really went for it with the gore. Now again, this is Tom Savini. Tom Savini was at war. He was a workhorse. He was in the army. He took photos. He knows what this is supposed to look like. Yeah. And he's perfectly happy to share it with you.
I wonder if that's why we had so many military zombies.
I don't think so, but I think it's just what that focus on the gore is. But I'll tell you where else that gore is coming from. In the intervening years, once George Romero created the zombie.
Yeah.
Well, it's a popular thing, especially among horror people like me.
Yeah.
And one of the places that really grabbed it and ran with it, there's a lot of Italian horror. It's cheap to film there. Oh. And there's people like Lucio Fulci, who is an absolute genius. And also not willing to compromise. This man is perfectly happy to not just shed blood, but tear flesh. This man is perfectly happy to have a hand burst out of a door, grab a woman's head, and pull it towards the splinter. And show the whole thing. That, by the way, was the best game at Cinema Wasteland ever, where we had to recreate that sequence. It's kind of like Pin the Tail on the Donkey, but more thrusting.
I hate that.
Ken Kish actually blew up a nice big photo of the heroine, and had a nice soft paper area with her eye, and then blindfolded you, and you're looking at me in utter astonishment because Because you know that I actually participated in that game.
Yeah, you participated in a lot of weird games there.
But, that's the thing. Italian zombie movies were all about the gore. All about showing internal organs splitting out and the zombies munching on intestine and really, really pushing that. And I can't help but think that Romero was like, wait a minute. Dude, I created this thing for you. What are you doing up,
Oh, no!
So, Day of the Dead decided to go full force. They couldn't get an R rating. This thing went out unrated.
Unrated?
Unrated. They basically told the MPPA to go to the devil, and we're just going to release it as it is.
I'm surprised they couldn't even get an R rating.
Not with the level of gore. And again, Romero's an old hippie. He is inherently just stubborn. I'm not changing it. I'm not changing it. You can go do something biologically impossible, and the horse you rode in on. And so this went out unrated, and again, the horror guys like me, the gore hounds, absolutely ate it right up. He created some, it's kind of like, okay, I'm doing this. I'll show you. The Americans can do it too. Remember those old horror cards that we used? So, Day of the Dead folder actually does show up in here. Like, here's a nice picture of Bob.
Gotta quit this nail biting. Oh, poor buddy.
That head. You might not want to look too hard at this, but that one head that was blurred out. And then when all the zombies come after, like, the soldier men, it doesn't go.
Stay for coffee?
This is the beginning shot. I'm not going to show you the end shot, but
please don't.
I mean, you saw zombies running off with his legs.
Yeah,
we see them detach. I mean, it's the whole thing. It goes there, and this is absolutely the goriest of all of his films. I think I'm pretty safe in saying that. But it's also stuff like, there's still little touches towards all the other movies. Not just all the other movies, but more than that. Like, there's a moment where Frankenstein hands Bob a book. And the book is Salem's Lot.
Yeah.
That's a Stephen King book.
Yeah.
Romero had just come off doing Creepshow with Stephen King.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's a really cool thing, especially considering that it's going back. It's one of those Easter eggs for the rest of the fandom. Mm-hmm. I mean, he also goes as far as saying during the meeting, we haven't heard from Washington in ages. There's no more cities, and all the malls are closed.
Yeah, that I did kind of pick up on that when I was like, oh, I'm like pointing my finger, you sly dog, oh.
And you know what? The helicopter thing is the same thing. You asked me, like, hey, wait a minute. Didn't in Dawn of the Dead, didn't they escape with a helicopter? And we kind of do that again here.
Yeah, but I mean, they do it differently though, because it's not the fact of like waiting for the helicopter or trying to fix up the helicopter. It's the fact we got to get to the helicopter.
It is, and I love our helicopter pilots.
Yeah,
Flyboy and the other dude. They're a lot of fun. They're kind of the grounded. They're the only ones who aren't idealistic. Like the scientists are blinded by science. The army men are blinded by duty, and they're just like, you know what? If it were up to me, I'd just head out to a Caribbean island and sit on the sand and soak up some sun. you would do that with all this going on? I'd do this without all this going on.
Yeah, and they do go to a beach at the end.
And it really is. That's what the fundamental. I mean, he's looking at Lori and telling her, I mean, maybe this is man got too big for his britches, and
yeah,
God decided to remind him who's in charge. I mean, there's so much philosophy that we get throughout here. And even more so than we did in Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
It's an interesting movie.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those ones that I have heard about, that I've seen the posters for. We hadn't actually gotten around to watching it. But it's good that I have it in my brain now.
I think it, yeah, I really think it is. Because, like, you started into it, it's a long day at work, you're sluggish, and
bit, yeah.
You were a little skeptical, too. But
yeah.
I'll tell you what, I watched you latch onto Bob, and I watched you get into it, and it does that. Mm-hmm. It draws you in, and it tells you, no, wait, stick with me, because something important's happening here.
No, yeah, there wasn't enough downtime where I got bored between it.
Right, and so, I think that's it. We've gotten you through George Romero's first trilogy.
First trilogy.
See,
What
now
do you
for the
mean,
longest
first
time,
trilogy?
this was it. This was the George Romero trilogy. He came back in the 2000s, and
no.
especially right after the Dawn of the Dead remake.
Oh no, what did he do?
Well, now, of his second trilogy, there really only is one that's worth watching, and I'll admit, Romero and I have diversely different politics. It seeps into it here and there. But still, the one that's worth watching is Land of the Dead.
Land? I've never even heard of that. Land of the Dead.
Well, give me another 7 days.
Dang it.
And we will see you next week.